to the 2024 World Series.
Sounds good.
Specifically, how the Dodgers clinched their 8th championship, and against the Yankees, no less.
Oh, yeah. Classic matchup.
To get the full picture, we've got game summaries, some post-game analysis, and even some pretty passionate fan reactions.
I bet.
From both sides, of course. This wasn't just any series win, though. Game 5, the Dodgers managed to pull off a record-breaking comeback.
Oh, wow.
Down 5-0 at one point.
No kidding. 5-0.
Yep. So we're going to break down those turning points, talk about some of the star players, and, what it all means for both of these teams moving forward.
I think what's really incredible to consider here is, we're not only talking about a championship win,
Right.
but also a monumental collapse on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And a display of resilience that, you just don't see this in baseball history.
Right. So to set the stage for Game 5, the Dodgers were leading the series 3-1. So there was a lot of pressure on for a potential clincher here. The Yankees, though, they were aiming for that miracle comeback.
Wow, yeah.
Become the first team to ever overcome a 3-0 deficit in the World Series.
That's almost impossible.
It is. And remember, the Yankees had already battled through so much adversity this season, injuries, other setbacks, just to even reach this point.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you could tell they came out swinging, almost making a statement, back-to-back home runs from Judge and Chisholm in that first inning alone.
First inning, wow.
Then Stanton adds another homer in the third. It almost felt like they were recreating their entire season, that highlight reel right there on the field.
Yeah.
And it was truly a dominant start. Jarrett Cole, their ace, was on fire. He pitched 4 hitless innings, totally shutting down that Dodgers offense. At that point, I don't know about you, but I was thinking, is this really happening?
Oh, yeah.
Are the Yankees about to make history? Cole's performance was it was crucial, especially considering how much they'd relied on him all season. Their workhorse, their anchor. But then the 5th inning happened. The 5th inning, that's where things took a turn.
Yeah.
And it was a complete unraveling for the Yankees. It started with three critical errors, and these are the kinds of errors that you almost never see from a team with this much experience, especially on a stage like the World Series.
Especially the World Series.
It's fascinating to think about, the mental aspect of the game.
The mental game, yeah.
Especially in these high-pressure situations. Think about it, Judge, who hadn't made a single error all season long.
Right.
Drops a routine fly ball.
Oh, wow.
Then Volpe, the hero of Game 4, throws a wild ball to third base.
Oh, no.
And then to top it all off, Cole, a veteran pitcher, forgets to cover first base on a simple grounder.
Oh, come on. You got to cover first. That's baseball 101.
It was almost as if the pressure of that moment just got to them. And the Dodgers, you could tell they sensed that shift. They pounced on every mistake.
Yeah. Capitalize on the momentum.
Betts and Freeman came through with some clutch hits, driving in runs, tying the game 5-5. And just like that, the momentum had completely swung in the Dodgers' favor.
Yeah.
It really is a testament to the Dodgers' resilience, though.
Oh, for sure.
They'd faced their own challenges this season, especially with their pitching staff. But they always found a way to adapt.
Right.
They relied on their bullpen more than they probably anticipated going into the season. And in this game, it was their secret weapon.
Oh, absolutely. And what's even more impressive is that, they had to employ this strategy for 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
It takes incredible depth in your pitching staff.
Right.
And it also demands a certain level of mental toughness from the pitchers themselves.
Oh, yeah.
They got to be ready to go at a moment's notice.
Right.
And they can't let that pressure get to them.
So we're at a crucial point in Game 5.
Yeah.
Dodgers are using this bullpen game.
Okay.
The Yankees have just imploded in the 5th.
Right.
The momentum has completely shifted. But the Yankees, they managed to regain the lead briefly in the 6th, making it 6-5.
Yeah.
So what happened next?
Well, the Dodgers, they answered right back, tying it up again in the 7th. It was just this back and forth battle.
Yeah.
It felt like anything could happen.
And that's where some of the unsung heroes of that Dodgers pitching staff really stepped up.
Yeah.
Treinen and Buehler.
Oh, yeah.
So Treinen, he was a workhorse in this game, throwing 41 pitches to get those 7 crucial outs.
Wow.
That's gutsy.
That is gutsy.
And then Buehler, can you believe that? A former World Series MVP, usually a starting pitcher. coming out of the bullpen to close out games.
Wow.
Manager Dave Roberts, I mean, he made some unconventional calls this series.
Oh, yeah.
But this was a prime example.
Yeah.
He trusted his players.
Right.
Put them in positions to succeed, even if it meant kind of going against that traditional baseball wisdom.
Yeah, and then on the Yankees side, you had Connell, who's usually a very reliable relief pitcher.
Yeah.
He was struggling. Loaded the bases again.
Yeah.
It was like the baseball gods were determined to make this game as unpredictable as possible.
Right. I mean, it was wild.
Oh, baseball is such a game of inches, of moments, one misplay, one mental lapse. It can change the entire trajectory of a game.
Oh, for sure.
And in this series, the Dodgers, they seem to capitalize on every opportunity.
Yeah.
While the Yankees, they let those moments slip away.
Yeah.
And then came the eighth inning. And instead of, relying on their usual power hitting, the Dodgers opted for a more strategic, small ball approach.
Yeah, so Lux and Betts, they hit back-to-back sacrifice flies, driving in those go-ahead runs. No dramatic home runs this time.
Right.
Just smart, calculated baseball.
Yeah.
It was a masterclass in, how to manufacture runs when you absolutely need them.
And you got to give credit to manager Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd faced a lot of criticism for his, in-game decisions in the past.
Right.
But he really showed his tactical prowess in this game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had his team prepared for any scenario.
And then you had that kind of bizarre play with Ohtani.
Oh, yeah.
He ended up getting on base because of catcher's interference, adding another layer of what is even happening to this wild game.
Right.
And unfortunately for him, he went 0 for 4 otherwise.
Oof.
Just couldn't seem to buy a hit this entire series.
Yeah, even the best players, they experience slumps.
Right.
But his presence on base, even without a hit, I mean, it added to the pressure on the Yankees.
Absolutely. And to close it out, Buehler came back in to pitch the ninth.
Wow.
It's pretty unusual to see a starting pitcher used in relief like that, but Roberts, I mean, he knew he needed his best arm on the mound to secure that win. It was a bold move, but it paid off. Buehler shut down the heart of that Yankees order, ending the game with a final score of 7-6. And just like that, the Dodgers, they secured their 8th World Series title.
Incredible.
And the Dodgers just erupted in celebration.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Freeman, of course, he was later named the World Series MVP.
Oh, yeah. Well deserved.
The rest of the team, the fans, I mean, it was pure pandemonium.
It must have been electric.
For the Yankees, though, I mean, it was a crushing defeat.
Yeah.
To come so close to that historic comeback,
Oh, yeah.
only to have it slip away in such a dramatic fashion.
Right.
I mean, that kind of loss, it would stay with you.
It would stay with you, yeah.
And you can't forget, this loss came with a lot of uncertainty surrounding the team's future. Like, their offense, which had been so potent all season, just seemed to sputter out throughout the series.
Yeah, they really did struggle.
And then there was, of course, that Game 5 meltdown.
Oh, yeah.
So many what-ifs.
It's tempting to focus on, individual mistakes.
Right.
But ultimately, this was a team loss.
Right.
From the offensive struggles to the defensive lapses.
Yeah.
It all contributed to their downfall.
Speaking of the future, let's talk about Juan Soto.
Oh, yeah?
Free agent now.
Right.
And his decision is going to be huge for the Yankees. I mean, will he stay in New York
Yeah.
after this heartbreaking ending?
Right.
Or will he be looking for a fresh start somewhere else?
Oh, it's gonna be the biggest storyline of the entire offseason.
It is.
I mean, he's an incredible talent.
Oh, yeah.
His presence could completely reshape a team's future.
I guess we'll all be on the edge of our seats waiting to see what he decides.
Right.
But before we get too caught up in the future, let's circle back to the Dodgers. And that incredible pitching performance.
Yeah.
I mean, their bullpen deserves a standing ovation.
Oh, absolutely.
They might not have been the most well-known names in baseball, but they were absolutely clutch this series.
They stepped up when it mattered most, yeah.
I mean, we already talked about Treinen's gutsy performance.
Right.
But Buehler closing out the game as a reliever.
Right. I mean, who would have predicted that?
I know. Goes to show, in baseball, sometimes you just got to throw out the rule book and trust your instincts.
Yeah.
And this World Series really proved how unpredictable baseball can be.
Oh, for sure.
1 minute, the Yankees are cruising towards this historic comeback.
Yeah.
The next, they're falling apart.
Unbelievable.
It's just amazing. And that's part of what makes baseball so captivating, right?
Absolutely.
It's not always about which team has the most talent on paper.
Right.
It's about execution, staying composed under pressure, and capitalizing on your opponent's mistake.
Right. Being opportunistic.
Speaking of talent, We can't forget about Freddie Freeman, the World Series MVP,
Oh, yeah.
hit home runs in 4 consecutive games.
Incredible.
I mean, that's a new record, isn't it?
It is. And what makes it even more remarkable is that he was playing with an ankle injury. Talk about playing through the pain.
I know. He was an absolute beast at the plate, driving in runs, making clutch plays. He was a huge part of why the Dodgers won it all.
Yeah, for sure. He's already a World Series champion with the Braves back in 21.
Right.
And now he's done it again with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really solidifying his legacy as one of the best hitters of this generation.
Oh, absolutely. And it is tough not to feel for the Yankees, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it has to be heartbreaking to come so close to achieving your ultimate goal,
Right.
only to have it slip away.
But they fought hard all season.
Oh, they did.
They battled through adversity.
Yeah.
And, they pushed the Dodgers to the very limit.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really classy of their fans to give Cole a standing ovation as he left the field in the 7th.
Yeah, that was a really nice moment.
It was a nice moment.
It really spoke volumes about how much respect there is for the Yankees, even in defeat.
Right. And it highlights that even in the face of a loss, there's certain dignity and respect in acknowledging, the effort, the journey.
Yeah. So we've talked about the game itself, the turning points, the key players.
Right.
But what about the bigger picture?
Yeah.
What were some of the key takeaways from the sources we've gathered?
Well, for me, the Dodgers' resilience was a major theme throughout the series. They dealt with injuries. They had to rely heavily on that bullpen, but they never gave up. They adapted and they kept fighting.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to their team culture, their leadership.
I completely agree. I mean, every single player, from the stars to the role players, they stepped up when it mattered most.
Yeah, they all contributed. And another important takeaway was the impact of, the mental game.
Oh, absolutely.
We saw it firsthand with the Yankees collapse in that 5th inning.
Right.
Even the most seasoned players, I mean, they can crumble under pressure.
Oh, for sure.
And those mental errors, they can be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah. It's like they say, baseball is 90% mental.
Exactly. Yeah. And this World Series, it was a perfect example of how the mental game can truly influence the outcome.
Yeah. One thing that really impressed me about the Dodgers was their versatility.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they could win with power hitting, but they could also manufacture runs, with that small ball and strategic base running.
Yeah.
They weren't a one-dimensional team.
No.
I mean, that adaptability was a key factor in their success. They could adjust to any situation, any opponent.
Right.
That made them incredibly dangerous.
Absolutely.
So let's shift gears for a moment and talk about some of the post-game reactions.
Okay.
Were there any quotes or sentiments from the players or analysts that really resonated with you?
Well, Freeman's comment about this being the toughest team he's ever been a part of, that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
It really highlights the Dodgers' character and, their ability to overcome all those obstacles.
Oh, for sure. I loved Bet's simple one-word description of the 5th inning.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. I mean, what else can you say about a game like that?
It was nuts.
Yeah. And on the Yankees side, I thought Judge's statement about needing to make that first play, I mean, it was very telling.
Yeah.
He took responsibility, knowing that if he had caught that fly ball, the game might have unfolded very differently.
Like the butterfly effect.
Absolutely. And Cole was equally accountable, acknowledging his mistake and not covering first.
Right.
And then there was Boone, the Yankees manager,
Yeah.
who talked about how this loss, it would sting forever.
Oh, wow.
And you could just hear the heartbreak in his voice.
Yeah.
The Dodgers, on the other hand, I mean, they were pure joy.
Oh, I bet.
Treinen, who looked completely dazed, simply said, "It's a cool moment."
Yeah.
And Muncy described Game 5 as like the epitome of their season. Facing adversity, battling back, and ultimately triumphing.
Yeah.
And Magic Johnson, part owner of the Dodgers, he had a great quote.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "The Dodgers are the most important franchise in town right now. We needed a championship."
Oh, wow.
It really speaks to the role that, sports can play in a city's identity.
Absolutely.
The Dodgers, they brought this sense of pride and joy to Los Angeles, and that's something worth celebrating.
For sure. And Bill Plask, a columnist for the LA Times, I mean, he went so far as to call this the greatest Dodgers team in history.
Wow.
I mean, that's high praise.
It is high praise.
But, you could argue that it's well-deserved.
Right.
I mean, they dominated the postseason. They were breaking records, overcoming challenges every step of the way.
It's just fascinating how the narratives surrounding the two teams are so different.
Right.
The Dodgers are seen as this, resilient, dynamic force,
Right.
while the Yankees are remembered for their collapse and those missed opportunities.
Yeah, it's a reminder that history is often written by the victors.
Right.
The Dodgers story becomes one of triumph. And the Yankees, it becomes a cautionary tale.
But even in defeat, there's a lot of respect for the Yankees. I mean, they had a phenomenal season.
Oh, for sure.
And they pushed the Dodgers to their absolute limit.
Yeah.
So it's crucial to remember that.
Right.
Every competition has a winner and a loser. And the Yankees' accomplishments, they shouldn't be diminished by this loss.
No, absolutely not.
I have no doubt they'll be back and ready to compete again next year.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so let's turn our attention to the future.
Okay.
What are some of the questions, the storylines, that we'll be following in the offseason?
Well, the biggest one, as we've already discussed, is Juan Soto's free agency.
Right.
I mean, where he decides to play, it's going to have a ripple effect throughout the entire league.
Yeah. Will he stay with the Yankees,
Right.
hoping to rewrite the ending to this story? Or will he embrace a new challenge with a different team?
Yeah.
And another big question is, how will the Yankees respond to this loss? Will they rebuild? Or will they try to, retool and make another run at the championship next year?
They have some tough decisions to make.
They do. They have a lot of talented players, but they also have some aging veterans and some holes to fill on that roster.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see what their front office does during this offseason.
For sure.
And for the Dodgers, it's all about maintaining their dynasty.
Yeah. Can they keep this core group together?
Right.
Can they avoid that injury bug that plagued them throughout this season?
I mean, repeating as champions is never easy.
No, it's not.
But the Dodgers, they have the talent and the experience to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And finally, let's not forget the impact this World Series will have on the legacies of both teams.
Right.
For the Dodgers, it's another chapter in their storied history.
Yeah.
But for the Yankees, it's a reminder that even with a legacy of success, I mean, nothing is guaranteed in baseball.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This World Series was about so much more than just one game or even one series. It was about, history, legacy, the enduring appeal of baseball.
And it reminded us that even in this age of analytics and advanced statistics, I mean, the human element, the emotions, the errors, the moments of brilliance, that's what truly makes sports so captivating. So where do we even go from here? What is this whole World Series? What does it tell us about, the future of baseball?
It almost feels like we're witnessing a shift in the balance of power,
Yeah.
The Dodgers, with their resources and their commitment to player development, I mean, they're really setting a new standard for what a successful franchise looks like.
Yeah, I mean, they've embraced the analytics.
You're right.
But they haven't lost sight of the importance of team chemistry and leadership.
Exactly. I mean, they've built a winning culture.
Right.
And it's paying off. And other teams, they're definitely taking notice.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to figure out how to replicate that formula.
What about the Yankees, though? Can they adapt and stay competitive in this, this new era of baseball?
It's not going to be easy. I mean, their farm system isn't as strong as it once was.
Right.
And some of their recent decisions just haven't panned out the way they hoped.
Yeah, I mean, their reliance on those big-name free agents,
Right.
it hasn't always been the answer.
No. But that said, they still have a very passionate fan base.
Oh, yeah.
And the resources to make changes. So, if they can make some strategic moves.
Right.
And really focus on developing their younger players, I mean, they can absolutely be contenders again.
This World Series, it really underscored the importance of the mental game, something we touched on earlier. But how can teams better prepare their players for the pressure of those big moments?
Well, I think, it goes beyond just physical training.
Right.
Teams need to invest in sports psychology, mindfulness techniques, and really create a supportive environment where players feel comfortable talking about these things.
Yeah, it's about building that mental toughness, the resilience, and the ability to stay focused when the stakes are high.
Right, exactly. And the Dodgers seem to have mastered that aspect.
Right.
Well, the Yankees, at least in Game 5, I mean, they clearly struggled.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
The highs and lows of the series.
Right.
The key players, the post-game reactions, and what it all means for the future.
Yeah, what a series it was.
I know. Any final thoughts you want to leave people with, as we kind of wrap things up?
I think this World Series, it was a powerful reminder that baseball is a game of inches, of moments.
Yeah.
A single dropped fly ball,
Yeah.
a missed opportunity, a mental lapse. I mean, those tiny things, they can change the course of history.
And it reminded us that, even in defeat, there are valuable lessons to be learned.
Absolutely.
The Yankees, despite their heartbreaking loss, they showed incredible grit and determination throughout the season.
Right. And the Dodgers' victory, I mean, it's a testament to the power of perseverance, teamwork, and belief.
We've dissected the game, we've analyzed the stats, we've explored all those narratives.
Right.
But ultimately, you were there. You witnessed this clash of titans. So what will you remember most about this incredible World Series? What stood out to you? That's something to think about as we say goodbye for now. Until next time on The Deep Dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.